So if you've got one more in one of them, you know, it doesn't matter, as long as they're basically equal. And the easiest way is to put this between your knees so that you can hold on to it, and then you can plait this part because you need the tension on this to plait it. But this is how you plait. So you've got the middle one, and you're going to put the left one over the middle one and bring the other one underneath. So you're going to swap places with them. Then you're going to do the same with this one. Grab this one with my middle finger, got this one between my thumbs, and then you're going to swap them over. Go back to the other side and swap them over. So we're just moving the outside into the middle. I'm going to do the rest off camera because I can't get enough of a grip. Once you get down the bottom, what I've done is grab another scrap piece of yarn, one of the colours that are in here. So let's use a blue piece. Make it about 20 centimetres long. Then we're going to wrap. So just got them even, and I'm just going to wrap it around. Make sure they're even. You could use elastic band or anything to tie this off, it's up to you. Piece of ribbon if it's for a girl. And I'm just tying a knot. Might want to make it a bit longer than 20 centimetres, then you can always trim it off. And then just sort of try and lay flat. Make sure it's a double knot so it doesn't come undone. And then just trim off anything that we need to down the bottom here. And then we want to repeat for the other side. So we now have our hat with our tassels. Let's get started on the eyes. I'm going to be using black for the centre, blue for the eyes, or the iris, whatever, or the colour of the eye I should say, and then white for the outside, and then this blue is going to be the eyebrow that I'm going to add on as well. So you're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4 colours. And what you need to do is the first 4 rounds of the beanie. Now I'm going to show you the first round and then show you how to change colour, and then you can just go back to the beginning of the video and follow the rest for the instructions. For the first 3 rounds, and then I'll show you how to do the eyelashes or eyebrow or whatever you want to call it. So what we needed to do is the first round, so it was 12 double crochets into the center. Your first one is your single crochet and chain 1, so do 11 more double crochets into the center and join it with a slip stitch. If you don't know how to do that, go back to the very first round of the beanie. So now we have our first round of the beanie. You're going to grab your next colour, so that's my blue, and this is how we join a new colour into this round. So go through any stitch through both loops, pick up your new colour, hook it over your hook, pull through, and I know this black is hard to see, but you won't need to use it so much, and then do a chain 1, preferably keeping your loop on the hook, and pull down at the back, and then continue with your next round, and that's how you change colour. And then you can crochet over these tails as you go around. And you're going to complete the first 3 rows, and you'll have yours looking like this, and then we're going to go on to the next row. When I finished off my white row, I've left, as you can see, quite a lot of tail. This is for when we sew the eye onto the beanie. So grabbing your eyebrow colour or your eyelash colour, join it away from where your tail is there. It's going under both loops, getting your yarn, so getting your yarn, pulling through, doing a chain, pull down the short piece at the back and that will secure, doing a single crochet into the stitch and chain 1. Now we're doing round 4 of our beanie. So let's do 2 stitches by themselves, so it's a double crochet, and then it's an increase, so it's 2 into the same stitch. Next one is 1, the next one is 1, the next one is an increase, that's 2 into the same stitch. I'm going to work that until it's about just a little bit less than halfway around. So if that's halfway to about there, but you can do it as far around as you like. So that's 1, another one by itself, and then an increase. One by itself, another one by itself, and an increase. So you just look at it and see how far around you want the eyelash, and I sew it so that the eyelashes are up like that. I don't sew them flat to the head. It's up to you, you can do it if you like. So I'm going to do one more lot, so ending on an increase. Let me just have another look at it. Yep, I think that's about right, because that's about halfway, just short of halfway. So do 2 of those. And this tail you don't have to have very long. So finish this eyebrow off, sew in those ends, sew in those ends as well, leaving this long white one, and you want to make 2 exactly the same. So we should have 2 eyes, a hat and some tassels. Let's sew on our eyes. So you're going to lay your hat flat, making sure that it's even. Or you can put it on your child and then see where you want to put the eyes. But this is how I'm doing it because I don't have a child to do it with. Lay your eyes on. And we want to get them so that they're even. What I do is I go by this outside line here where the ear flaps start, and I'll make sure that they're lined up together. And then I go up 1 row from the bottom one row up from the bottom and I start sewing it from there so that it's lined up with that line, and then making sure that it lines up, goes out the same distance as it does on the other side over here. And I like to put the eyebrows on a little bit of a slant. You can have them any way you like, but I think it looks better like that. That's just my personal preference. And to sew them on, what we do is I'm lining it up with this first row here. And I'm going through stitches on the front of the beanie. So I'm not going completely the whole way through. And this way, you won't be able to tell that you've stitched it on from the inside of the beanie. Makes it look nice and neat. So I'm not going any lower than that first row there. And don't forget, if you make one of these, please share it on our Facebook page. If not, send it to the email address in the description box, and I will add it to my next video that I make of everybody's creations. People love to see what everyone else has done. So I'm just picking up the loops on the front of the beanie. So when you turn it inside, you can't even tell I've thrown it on. You don't want these ugly little stitches on the back of your beanie and where people can see it. Well, I don't like it anyway. So when we get to this part, you're actually going to fold the eyelash back like so. And you're only going into the white stitches. Just picking up those white stitches there. Still making sure it's laying flat. Picking up stitches on the front of the beanie. Only picking up white ones. Continue all the way around till it's sewn on. So next up is our beak, and you can use a bright yellow or an orange, but I'm just going to use the blue because I don't have that colour, and I think if I use this blue here it's going to tie in nicely with the colour scheme we've got going on. So what you want to do is grab a piece of yarn that is about 1 metre long. It's probably going to be too much, but you want more than not enough. Then you're going to thread it so that it's even, or close to, and then we're going to go to our beanie. Oops, sorry guys. And what we're going to do is work out where we want to put our beak. So you've got to find the centre spot. So the centre spot is about there. And then what you're going to do is work a triangle into there. So centre spot, go from the back to the front, and then just pull up. So when you've got some little tails hanging down there, and just leave them dangling at the bottom there. So what I normally do is work across 3 stitches. So 1, 2 and 3. So I go up to there, so that's the right stitch, to the one that we've just gone into, and then I go back down to the bottom, go up, miss that stitch, go into the next one. So exactly where you'd put your crochet hook if you had one. And just making sure that these lay even. don't want to pull too tight on them. And then going from the back, because you should be at the back, going into that middle stitch and coming out, going back down into the bottom. And this is why we need all that yarn, because we've doubled over. So now we're going to work, so we've got 1, 2, 3, we're going to be working in between those stitches there. So coming up in between these two. So what we're trying to do is fill in the triangle to make it look like a beak. So I've gone back down into the bottom. As you pull it through, you might need to convince it where it needs to go. So then going back up between the first and the second stitch, you will just be going through wool, not actually stitches. Going between those two stitches. And again, I'm not pulling tight, and we're going back down into the bottom. And then pulling through, and this is going to complete your beak. You can go over it a few more times if you like, but I find if I do it too many times, it just looks funny. You see, I've got a bit of a gap here, so I could go up to there again and making sure you put your stitch in the middle where it needs to go and back down. That's better, that's closed in that gap there. So then at the back, cut off your, actually first of all tie a knot with your end. I don't normally tie knots, but don't tell anybody, it's a secret. And then just sew in your ends. So we're nearly finished. Look at this cute little beak. Now we just want to put little tassels on the top. Now if it's for a girl, I've made 2 of these for a girl, 2 little girls. I just put a bow up the top there, and I didn't put the little ear things on the top. We could put a flower or something up there too. I just think, I asked the mum and she didn't want them on the top. I thought it was a bit too much, but being a boy one, you're not going to put a bow on there, are you? So let's put on those cute little ears. For the little tufts on top of the beanie, I'm thinking about 20 centimetres long, because you're going to fold it in half, plus have your knot. You can always trim it if it's too long. I've got 4 different colours here that are in the beanie. And I'm going to cut 2 lots, so that's 8 strands per side. So, Edo, laying your beanie flat, you're going to go to the top, and then add them at about the 3rd row. And you want to attach these the same way you did your tassels. There we go, just attach the ears onto the top of the beanie. And I've had to use my biscuit jar as a model.